check. It's Championship Sunday here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. The 2017 Softball Championships live from Bakersfield. Join us in about 10 minutes to start of Game 6 of the finals. It's Mount SAC and Cypress. Cypress 1 win away from a state championship and an undefeated season here in 2017. Join Mike Cepeda, Matt Folsom, and Jeff Stoynoff on the call today in 10 minutes.
And we welcome you to the 2017 California Community College Athletic Association Softball Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Cypress College against Mount San Antonio, and obviously to set the situation, Cypress comes in from the winner's bracket, one win here today, and they wrap up a state championship here in 2017. Mount San Antonio College, after a win in Game 5 yesterday, they need to sweep the doubleheader. And Matt, let's start with you, and obviously this is an historic occasion potentially here for Cypress College, I should say.
Well, previously, two teams have entered the tournament undefeated. Neither one of them won a state championship. This is the furthest one of those undefeated teams has gotten. Championship Sunday with an unblemished record. They have a chance to be the first in the history of the CCCAA to win a championship and be undefeated. Now, they can not be undefeated and still win a state championship because Mount San Antonio, they could certainly win the first one and lose the second one. I mean, there are all kinds of possibilities.
The Mounties are battling history. We're going to stop here very quickly for the national anthem and rejoin you with the first pitch here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Jeff Stoynoff, Matt Folsom, Mike Cepeda back with you from Bakersfield for the 2017 3C2A Softball Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. And guys, as we continue to break down this matchup coming in, we've talked about how dominating a season at 47-0 Cypress College has had as they close in on a possible championship here. One other thing to consider is you will seldom see a more dominating run to a championship in any sport at any level. Look no further than their opponent today, 42-4 on the season. And if the Chargers are able to finish this one off, especially here in Game 6, they will have gone 4-0 against Mount San Antonio College this season. And that in and of itself is an incredibly impressive achievement.
It is hard to beat a team twice in a season, let alone 4 times. And just a little bit of history on the line for Mount San Antonio College as well. They won state championships in 2003, 5, 7, and 9. We called them the reverse San Francisco Giants. This is an odd year as well. So
in case you haven't noticed, it's 2017. This is an odd-numbered year. And I think it sort of underscores the point that we had the feeling we speculated last night, but that Mount San Antonio College has had such a terrific season. This has been the one team they can't seem to get past, but it's hard to imagine that they don't have the feeling, hey, we can hang with these guys. Why are they having so much success? They have to still feel a measure of confidence coming in here today.
We commented on that at the end of the San Mateo Mount SAC game, as there was nobody, and they didn't have any choice, but there's nobody that Mount San Antonio would rather play today than the Cypress College Chargers.
Yeah, they have to be feeling, you always see that again in any sport at any level. When you're good, you know it, and those are usually the ones that say, nobody should be getting the better of us at this point, and certainly not this way. So the Chargers will have to continue the trend and the success as we bring in Mike Cepeda again. And as we've talked about in our coverage cross sports all the time, it is hard to keep beating a good team, but that's what the Chargers need to do today.
Well, I mean, Mount SAC, as you probably alluded to already, got off to a pretty good start yesterday. Taylor Jurique going deep. She went deep twice yesterday, obviously making her case for possible tournament MVP. But right now the story for Cypress and this entire tournament is Nicole Weiss for Cypress. 4 for 4 yesterday, 2 for 3 the day before. You talk about some gaudy numbers offensively, and then you think about what she's done in the field. She has 4 big-time highlight plays, 3 of them that we have featured so far here. We'll run through them later on in the broadcast as we get set to go.
Yeah, we've been talking about stars on these teams throughout, different players, but it is hard to imagine that you can play the game a whole lot better than Nicole Weiss has this weekend. Talk about success in all phases of the game. Kayla Sock leading things off for Mount San Antonio College. Takes a rise ball inside.
One final thing I want to say is setting the stage here is that Cypress is 47-0. But and Nicole Weiss has had a great series so far. But these are cogs in a machine.
Yeah.
They all know their roles, and they have performed. You can pick out 9 players on that field right now, and they have all been superlative.
Yeah, absolutely. As we talked about, we haven't had any shortage of names to talk about in every game that we have. It's been an array of great efforts across all 4 teams, of course, as you would expect at this level. Sock swings and lifts this one foul. Out of play. Part of the reason that the Chargers have been so successful against Mount San Antonio College this season is their ability to keep Kayla Sock, the dynamic leadoff hitter for the Mounties, off base. She's just 2 for 11 against the Chargers this season, and obviously that trend will have to continue if you're Cypress College, if you hope to continue to have success. Just the numbers on Kayla Sock, if she does reach, she's 38 of 39 on stolen bases on the season, so imperative to keep her off base. Meanwhile, Destiny Vasquez in the circle has gone full with a 3-2 count on Sock. Here's the pitch. Lined, foul. So Sock a little bit out in front as Vasquez, as we've been seeing a lot of this weekend, Matt, continuing to bust it inside, not afraid to come inside.
Well, and we have seen in every game she's thrown that she has an array of pitches, has a mastery of finding a spot to place it, given the situation.
Well, give Ruby Rojas, and perhaps this isn't surprising, but Ruby Rojas, you take a look at the lineup today, and she's not panicking. She's not switching things up. Sock down on strikes, the rise ball from Vasquez, and she gets the strikeout to start, but she's going with the same lineup, both in terms of the personnel, but also same order. So Ruby Rojas, hey, this is what got us here, and this is what we're going with.
And there we saw Destiny Vasquez, just what we were talking about, going inside, going outside, then going up to get the K.
And that'll bring up Aaliyah Wilbon. Wilbon, you see, getting the running start from the left side, takes a strike on the outside corner. Wilbon comes in batting .465. No home runs, 25 runs batted in. She keyed a 3-run inning, I should say, to help the Mounties take control in Game 5 with a leadoff triple in the 9-2 victory to eliminate College of San Mateo last night.
You can go up and down both lineups and look at speed that is fairly unprecedented as if you look at overall team speed. Wilbon, one of those, going head first on that triple last night.
Here's the 0-1 to Wilbon. Off speed is low and away. Ball and a strike on Wilbon. She'll be followed by Taylor Jarique. We talked briefly about her, but 2 bombs yesterday, 1 in each game for the Mounties, so she's up to 14 on the season, and she waits on deck. Wilbon, a swing and a miss, and she's down on strikes. So Vasquez off to a fast start. Fans the first 2 batters, and that'll bring up Jarique. Of course, you think back to Game 5, and it was a similar fast start for Mercer on the mound, got the first 2 batters, and then Jarique went downtown. So it can happen just that quickly. And Vasquez will obviously have to work carefully to the Mountie catcher, Taylor Jarique.
Who leads the team coming in almost every offensive category that matters.
Best catcher in the state.
Diamond Sports Catcher of the Year.
The 1-0 from Vasquez. High pop. Foul territory, but Zavala has a play on it and puts it away. 3 up, 3 down. We are underway on Championship Sunday through a half inning. Mount San Antonio College, nothing. Cypress coming to bat. You're watching the 2017 3C2A Softball Championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Watch Championship Sunday live here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Spread the word if you have anybody that was not able to make the trip up here to Bakersfield or down here to Bakersfield, depending on where you are. You can go to our website, www.SoCalCollegeSports.com. You can also go to our channel on YouTube, SoCal College Sports 1, and you can follow us on Twitter at SoCal College SPO. And on the YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe. You'll get all of the notifications via Gmail in your email about notifications of when the games will go live, and you can watch all of the coverage from this weekend that is archived to our website as well.
Tiffany Kennedy Cummings gets the start here in Game 6. We wondered after she went 6 innings in the victory over San Mateo, but with a night's rest, it'll be back to Kennedy Cummings on the mound, though you have to suspect that we might see Raquel Espinoza, certainly at some point today, but very possibly here in Game 6. Ruby Rojas been using them pretty interchangeably this weekend and all year.
Don't be surprised, especially if it goes to a second game today, to see both of them again. And it could be the same starter, Kennedy Cummings. And that's how softball goes,
Kennedy Cummings got the start yesterday in the matchup between these two teams in the winner's bracket. That was Game 3, and she did struggle going 2 1/3, allowing 5 hits and 3 runs all earned. Eventually, Cypress outlasted Mount San Antonio yesterday 6-4. But right back to Kennedy Cummings. And she comes in, of course, having an outstanding year, a record of 18-2, an ERA of 1.19, as she makes her 21st start, her 33rd appearance overall. Well, they finally got Tiffany's ERA up over 1 with a couple of runs yesterday, but she led the state in earned run average this season, and she's been outstanding.
What a matchup.
Yeah. Strength everywhere on both teams.
This is elite level softball in the 3C2A at its finest.
Melanie Okazaki will lead things off against Kennedy Cummings. She'll be followed by Sydney McCollum and Jenny Vasquez here in the bottom of the first. Kennedy Cummings into the line. Here's the pitch, tailing inside, ball 1.
And we saw a great placement from Destiny Vasquez yesterday as well. She was able to bring it in a couple different areas, a lot of off speed to go with her heat.
Yeah, we've been impressed with the movement of Kennedy Cummings' pitches as well. Comes in batting .456, does Okazaki. That one inside, and it got a piece of Okazaki. So the leadoff batter aboard.
Well, gentlemen, I was instructed for more shout-outs today by Coach Pickler this morning at breakfast.
Hey, he's always coaching, even up here.
Is there anybody left in Southern California that has not received a shout-out this weekend?
Well, Papa Pickler, Irv Pickler, has gotten a shout-out every day of the tournament, so we won't stray away from that trend. So shout-out to Papa Pickler, Irv Pickler. His brother, Scott Pickler, you may have heard of that name. He's the head baseball coach at Cypress, who only has 5 state championships. Karen Terreri, a friend of the family for Coach Pickler. I want to say that's Carrie Maloney.
I'd go with that.
Amber, Rocky, Coral, and all the other girls who played for Coach Pickler at Cypress.
Which number's in the thousands?
Probably in the thousands, that's correct.
Yeah, in his 29th season. No balls and 1 strike on McCollum. Fouled back to the screen. Quickly in a hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
Imagine the mantle at the family house for the Picklers.
They have a separate room.
They do. They need a trophy room. You don't often see the necessity for the full-on trophy room. I don't even have a trophy.
to necessitate the room of.
I don't have
an entire room.
Either.
McCollum down on the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Okazaki at first, 32 steals and 32 attempts on the season, so good speed for the Chargers.
Another shout-out to Coach Drew at Cypress, one of the basketball coaches there for Cypress College.
A ball and 2 strikes to count on McCollum.
Wow.
Ripped foul.
Oh, you're talking about another hot bat in the lineup for Cypress. McCollum's been just that.
batting .441 on the season with a home run and 49 runs batted in.
I believe that's coming into today.
Yeah, high-octane offense on both sides. Of course, as we talked about, the Mounties in the top 3 in batting average in the state.
Well, the Mounties are high-octane. Cypress is like jet fuel.
Shallow pop into center, but Maikai closing ground quickly. We talked about the fielding really from all 4 teams, and of course Nicole Weiss with some highlight reel plays, but Maikai has been very impressive in center field for the Mounties as well. And you see there the range. That was a ball that off the bat could have been a little bit of trouble, but Maikai closes ground so very quickly.
It looked like it was going to be the proverbial Texas leaguer.
Yeah.
Now what do they call those? Flares?
Yep.
A gork. I'm sorry, I went to Boulder Room there. Jenny Vasquez will be the batter. Good rise ball taken just high. One ball and no strikes on Vasquez. Let's start to set the defense. Aaliyah Wilbon in left, Bree Maikai in center, Alyssa Rasso in right. We will take care of the infield after this pitch. The 1-0. Nice job by Jaric. A little framing there on the ball on the outside corner. Count evened up at a ball and a strike. The infield, Carissa Felix at third, Kayla Sock at short, Mandy Larios at second base, Tony Mendoza at first, the battery, Taylor Jaric behind the plate, and Tiffany Kennedy Cummings in the circle. Off speed, just high again, 2 balls and a strike. I think Vasquez catches a little break there. She was frozen on the change of speed, but the ball floats in a little high, so she's ahead in the count.
Well, that's what we saw from Kennedy Cummings yesterday, was the ability to float one in.
2 balls and a strike on Vasquez, a .379 batter on the season. Big swing and a miss. That time Kennedy Cummings gets the rise ball past her.
And that is uncharacteristic. Maybe swinging a pitch out of the strike zone. You don't often see that from a Cypress team.
Vasquez was 5 home runs, 44 runs batted in on the season. Interesting, no movement from Okazaki as of yet. That one fouled back again.
Do you remember on Friday how the Chargers had a first and third situation with, I think, a 2-run lead late in the game, and they didn't run, and we commented, why is she not going down to second? There's 1 out. And I asked Brad about that, and he said we were waiting for our hitter to come through. We had no doubt. We didn't want to take a runner off the base path.
Well, and I think that's an interesting point in this matchup. This obviously a matchup fraught with drama and tension here between 2 very evenly matched teams, and I think the last thing you want to do in a game that very easily could be a 1-run game is run yourself out of an inning.
Right.
2-2 pitch, back to the rise ball, but this one high, and Vasquez lays off, another full count. And you see the Chargers have a little bit of that, I think of the Yankees when they were winning their World Series in recent years, and that patience up and down the lineup, and they're not afraid to go deep into counts.
Yeah, if you remember on day 1, Nicole Weiss threw out 2 runners trying to extend singles into doubles.
Swing and a miss. Okazaki breaking for second, has the stolen base. Vasquez down on strikes, but Okazaki with her 33rd steal on the season without being caught.
And there we saw Kennedy Cummings as we see that pitch and the stolen base on replay.
Pretty good throw from Jaric. Almost got her.
Almost got her. But we saw Kennedy Cummings at her best right there with that high heat.
Zavala will be the batter for Cypress. Batting .403, 2 home runs, 31 runs batted in. So the Chargers have a runner in scoring position now with 2 down.
You mentioned the defense earlier. It's such a change from last year where we commented on just the opposite from the defensive positions on all 4 teams. It was a little more ragged than it has been this year. Sure, there have been some errors and some misplays for, I think, every team. But overall, there have been stellar defensive plays, highlight reel plays more often than not, and consistency.
I think we've been impressed with how clean the play has been up and down in terms of teams not really hurting themselves with a lot of miscues in this one, but rather it's just been a case of the winning team really taking it. Off speed and outside, 1 ball and no strikes on Zavala. Nicole Weiss, who has been red hot, waits on deck if Zavala can keep it alive.
And we've also seen lots of runners left on base. If I had to put an acronym on this year, it would be LOB.
Yeah. The 1-0 pitch to Zavala. Big swing and a miss. Still adjusting, I think, to the speed.
Yes.
From Kennedy Cummings, though this is the 3rd time that the Chargers have seen her. So we talked about some of these, especially in the north-south matchups. First time seeing a pitcher, first time seeing a batter, but they should be familiar with Kennedy Cummings by now, but it shows just the kind of stuff that she has. A ball and a strike. Continuing to try and work the outside corner.
Familiarity, if you've seen a pitcher this many times in the season, is far different than actually a game situation where you're looking at her. I've seen her 4 times, but seeing it live, you need an AB or 2.
A ball and 2 strikes to count on Zavala. Here it comes. A wave and a miss. Kennedy Cummings gets the strikeout. The Chargers go down here in the first without a run. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base. We're through 1 complete. No score. Championship Sunday in the 3C2A softball championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Top of the 2nd inning. No score here in Game 6, the softball championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com in the 3C2A.
Proverbial pitching duel so far.
Yeah.
After 1.
Well, pitching telling the story, certainly. Tony Mendoza will lead things off for Mount San Antonio College. I made the point that Ruby Rojas not shaking things up in the lineup here at all, but rather sticking with what got him here, as you would expect. But there was one minor change. Tony Mendoza moves up from 5th to 4th, and that may be because she had 2 hits, the only one with multiple hits in the matchup between these 2 teams yesterday. So Ruby Rojas perhaps shaking it up a little bit, trying to get the bat of Mendoza a little higher in the order. She's quickly in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes to Destiny Vasquez.
Well, we've had 7 batters. 4 have gone down on Ks.
446 the average for Mendoza on the season. 3 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Vasquez ready, kicks and delivers the rise ball. Too high. A ball and 2 strikes now on Mendoza.
More shout-outs for Coach Pickler. Rick Rems, Margaret Moore, Dina Bedard, Jeff Benito, Sylvie Grote, Larry Beadler, and Yvonne Pamela in the PE department.
Just outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Mendoza. So I suppose we should pass along our thanks for watching the broadcast. That's that's a lot of people that Pick is bringing in here to watch.
He's upping the numbers. Right now we're up to 110 watching right now, and obviously people tune in and out. So the numbers very good from this weekend. We'd like to report here on SoCalCollegeSports.com, transitioning over to the YouTube this season.
Just outside, and Mendoza's having a terrific at-bat here. She was down, no balls and 2 strikes. She's come all the way back to work it to a full count. Here's the payoff. Chop foul.
Ruby knows what she's doing, moving her up into the cleanup spot. And that may not be as much just about Mendoza as some of the other bats that she wants to move lower into the lineup.
The 3-2 outside. Mendoza works the leadoff walk. And how many times do we talk about it in all of our coverage? Leadoff walks will kill you.
Free passes are no good.
So the Mounties have the leadoff batter aboard in Tony Mendoza. That'll bring up Mandy Larios.
Particularly to lead off an inning.
Yep.
You know, a lead-off free pass, whether you're hitting a player or you're walking them.
They used to track that kind of thing and have the statistics on it. Bunted on the right side. Puiloa will go to first. A successful sacrifice for Larios, and the Mounties now have a runner in scoring position with one down. And it was an astounding figure that they found in terms of the amount of leadoff walks that eventually came around to score. And it was, suffice it to say, much higher than the league average. It was a particularly bad sign defensively when you put that leadoff runner aboard, seemingly especially as a walk. For some reason, that'll bring up Bree Maikai.
You know, a base runner is a base runner, whether they get on through a hit, a walk, hit batter. But I think psychologically, a base on ball is a big win for the offensive team.
Yeah, and
what's the conference about here?
Yeah, give us a chance to quickly introduce the umpires today. Alex Alexander behind the plate at first base. It's Steve Wilson, third base Ronnie Strange.
Great segue.
And they've huddled up.
If we can go back to the replay, you saw Larios stop in her run down to first base.
Well, yeah. Are they arguing because as Puiloa came up to make that play, she was pretty much in the baseline, although it looked to me, and we don't have the ability to go that far back with our replay, unfortunately.
She did.
Oh, okay. All right.
But they ruled that she didn't.
Okay. So I don't know how much of that was heard, but what they were talking about was arguing that the runner had stopped, and if that runner then retreats back down the first base line, that not only is that batter out, but that the runner that moved to second would have to go back to first. Lifted to left. Weiss positioned perfectly, has it for the out.
Not a shocker there.
Well, you know, she made a lot of highlight reel plays, and can throw in the occasional rather pedestrian play. It makes it look easy. Nothing wrong with that either. 2 down.
She makes everything look easy.
Alyssa Rosso will be the batter, trying to pick up Mendoza at second. That's part of the fun for me for these types of events is how much I learn over a weekend.
Yeah.
And granted, when you start as far behind as I did, it's going to be a lot. No balls and a strike on Rosso, who comes in batting .422, 2 home runs, 31 runs batted in.
And we saw on Friday the Mounties with a great ability to leave runners in scoring position.
Chopper to second. Vasquez bobbles, and everybody's going to be safe. Mendoza trying to get to home, but she's not going to make it. Easily thrown out at the plate. Romano puts the tag down, and that will end the top of the second inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left on base. We head to the bottom of the second. No score in Championship Sunday Game 6 here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Nicole Weiss will lead things off in the bottom of the second. She'll be followed by Emma Walker and Destiny Vasquez here in a scoreless game in the 2017 California Community College Athletic Association Softball Championships.
And as Mike said earlier in the broadcast, we talk about her defensive brilliance in this series so far. She was 4 for 4 yesterday.
Yeah, 6 for 7 overall on the weekend. A ball and no strikes the count.
Making a big play for MVP should the Chargers pull this one out.
Wise comes in batting .451. No home runs, 37 runs batted in. Kennedy Cummings with the look. Now ready. Tries the outside corner again. Down in the count now, 2 balls and no strikes.
And the familiarity between these two teams breeds pitches like that where, you know, we've seen her 4 times. She has a tendency to go after the outside pitch. So Kennedy Cummings trying to hit that spot.
The 2-0, right down the middle. 2 balls and a strike.
There's pick briefly.
Kennedy Cummings into the Wise. I should say into the wind. Wise grounds it to second. Easy play for Larios. So after hitting the opening batter, Kennedy Cummings has settled down, retired 4 in a row. That'll bring up Emma Walker. Walker had a home run yesterday. Comes in batting .409. 5 home runs, 27 runs batted in. First pitch to Walker in there for a strike.
Another one of those role players, not, you know, they just know what they need to do. They're just, I said it earlier, cogs in a greater machine. She's been steady in the outfield, steady at the plate.
Yeah, the 5 home runs, good enough for second on the team. Way out in front. Just got a piece, but down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Kennedy Cummings working into her 14th inning against Cypress on the season, and she's allowed 7 earned runs. And you think about the ERA down near 1 all year. That's how good this Charger offense has been. Mm-hmm. But so far today, she's held them at bay as she works in the second. The rise ball too high.
She's really moving it around. First pitch, a fastball right down the middle. That one high.
Yeah, we talked about moving it inside and outside, but then also mixing in the breaking stuff.
Yeah, she had that off-speed pitch
with the rise ball up top. Walker takes another rise ball high.
Is it 2-2? 2-2? 2-1?
I'm trying to look here. It's from our vantage point where we are, it is hard to see the scoreboard. So, gotta help you. 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you do lose track of the count. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Off speed. Walker down on strikes. That's the 3rd strikeout for Tiffany Kennedy Cummings here in the early going. That'll bring up Destiny Vasquez. Vasquez, a 2-way threat to be sure. She's done a great job in the circle. And she's had an outstanding season at the plate where she's batted .355 with a team-leading 7 home runs. And if my memory is right, she also has a home run this weekend.
She does. Yeah, she's the proverbial, help yourself out kind of hitter. She's in the circle, provides her own runs.
Vasquez got the win, got 2 wins in the regular season meetings between these two teams, getting the start in a Game 1 of a doubleheader and then coming on in relief in Game 2 to get both wins. As Cypress swept that doubleheader and then moved to 3-0 on the season against Mount San Antonio College with the victory yesterday. Vasquez takes that pitch outside, and you get a sense of the familiarity because they are able to lay off of that pitch that tails away from right-handers, and I can barely recall one of the Chargers offering it that pitch.
Yes, correct.
So far today.
Well, each team calling strikes or calling pitches with a purpose, having seen these batters so many times. It's different if Mount San Antonio is playing San Mateo or Delta. You don't know the tendencies for those players. The coaches on San Mateo coaches on Mount Sag know exactly what Cypress wants to do at the plate and vice versa.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count now on Vasquez. Kennedy Cummings kicks and delivers. Cold, strike 3. 3 up, 3 down in the second. Kennedy Cummings has fanned 4 through 2 innings. No score. The 2017 California Community College Athletic Association Softball Championships right here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Top of the 3rd inning upcoming in a scoreless game here in Game 6 of the Softball Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. The Chargers 1 win away. The Mounties trying to stay alive and force a Game 7. And let's remind everybody that coming up a little bit later, we'll have a conversation with Darcy Brownell, the head coach at Sierra College and the president of the California Community College Fast Pitch Coaches Association. So she'll be joining us in the booth probably next inning, I believe.
That's what
we'll have a conversation. We'll talk about any number of things, not the least of which is the new format next season. Exciting, a change from Bakersfield College, which has been so great here, hosting this event, but they're going to move the event and expand it, so we'll obviously get more into that coming up next inning. Raquel Espinoza will lead things off for Mount San Antonio College. She'll be followed by Carissa Felix and then Kayla Sock. Vasquez ready. That pitch low, a ball and a strike, the count on Espinoza, designated player. And very likely to see her in the circle at some point, though Kennedy Cummings has certainly been dominating so far. Big swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes. The count now on Espinoza.
Well, obviously they want Tiffany Kennedy Cummings to go as long as she can to try to force a do-or-die 7th game.
Espinoza, 421 batter on the season, 4 home runs. Chopper to short. McCollum on the short hop over to first. A nifty play by Sydney McCollum, trapping that ball on the short hop.
Great shortstop play in this
tournament. Really from everybody. Kayla Sock's been very solid. And, of course, Megan Wells for San Mateo. We commented on the job that she did. The infield defense really, I think, all around has been very, very good.
It has.
And it's not like the outfield defense has been any worse. Swung on and missed. Carissa Felix back in the starting lineup. They have shaken it up a little bit at third base, have the Mounties this weekend. We saw Kristen Williams in the first game of the weekend, but now Felix, who's been starting the games as of late, back in the lineup. She had a couple of hits in the victory over San Mateo yesterday. Called strike. No balls and 2 strikes quickly on Felix. Well, we've been talking about Kennedy Cummings being very good, but Vasquez has absolutely matched through the first couple of innings.
Carissa Felix, the sister of Selena Felix, who back in 2014 was the Player of the Year for Mount San Antonio.
High fly ball. Playable for Okazaki on the track. So Felix flirts with the long ball, but comes up a few feet short. 2 down, bases empty. Kayla Sock will be the batter. She struck out to start the game.
Both pitchers just sailing along. Extremely proficient with multiple pitches.
Yeah. Seen a walk and a hit by a pitch, but I'll tell you what we haven't seen. Well, I'm not on the bench. I'm not allowed not to say it.
Oh. You can say whatever the heck you want.
Complete freedom. So 2 down, bases empty. And Sock will be the batter.
I think it's different when it's 2 teams. I'm not sure what the protocol is there.
Sox 4 for 12 on the weekend with 3 stolen bases. Takes a strike. No balls, 1 strike. Vasquez kicks and delivers right back to the screen. So Sock quickly in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. 2 down, bases empty. Mounties batting here in the top of the 3rd. Mount San Antonio College trying to stay alive here in Game 6. Popped out of play.
Wow, that went right between the walkways. About a foot of open area that it could go through. You couldn't aim. You couldn't try to do that.
As long as it misses the windshield on my car, I'm
yeah.
pretty comfortable with wherever it ends up.
I'm just waiting for that big blast of aluminum.
Sock down on strikes again. Vasquez, meanwhile, now has fanned 3 through 3 innings. And Kayla Sock doesn't want to leave the batter's box. I think she's arguing that she got a piece of it. And now she's going to run down to first, and we'll see what the call is. Are they going to try and argue that that was a drop 3rd strike? Meanwhile, the Chargers have left the field. So let's wait and see what the call is.
See if we can see that drop 3rd strike.
So Alex Alexander, I don't know if we could go far enough back to get that one, but. And now they'll have to huddle up. It looked to me like Sock didn't get contact on the pitch, but it might have been dropped.
Can we see that again, Mike? No, we can't.
So we'll have another umpire huddle here as the teams will huddle up. Sock waits at first base. Okay, they're going to say Sock is down on strikes. Again, she's a pretty good actress because she didn't move. So I think whatever she thought she saw, she was very sure of it, but doesn't get the call. And instead, Kayla Sock down on strikes to end the top of the 3rd inning. We're through 2.5, no score, Mount San Antonio College and Cypress. It's the 2017 California Community College Athletic Association Softball Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Remember, everybody, you can go to our website, www.socalcollegesports.com. If you have an Apple TV, an Xbox One, or a YouTube-enabled device, you can search our channel on the YouTube app, SoCal College Sports 1. Catch us on the big screen, upscaled to 1080p, and, of course, follow us on Twitter, at SoCal College SPO.
Bottom of the third inning, still scoreless here from Bakersfield. In the 3C2A Softball Championships Game 6, Valerie Romano will lead things off, followed by Kiani Puailoa. And then the top of the order, Melanie Okazaki. First pitch to Romano, in for a strike, no balls and a strike. Romano comes in, batting .298, no home runs, 21 runs batted in. Kennedy Cummings, you get a look at Tiffany in the circle. 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. She hasn't allowed a hit. Quickly ahead now, no balls and 2 strikes on Romano. Well, we did make mention of the struggle that Kennedy Cummings has had against Cypress this season, just as a means of underscoring how good the Chargers have been. But Kennedy Cummings, for her part, has been very good this weekend. A brief struggle against Cypress in their matchup. But she's on fire so far here today. That's the 5th strikeout in the first 8 batters that she has faced.
And you saw a swing at a really bad pitch by a Charger. Make note of that.
Well, you wonder at some level if it wouldn't be human to have a little bit of frustration, especially when a great pitcher is hitting her spots with the kind of command that Kennedy Cummings has right now.
You know, for the casual observer, maybe the impassioned observer, one might wonder, and this might not be true at all, but I'm going to wonder it, is the pressure of an undefeated season maybe catching up with them? That it's in the back of their mind. The deeper they go in this game, is that a factor? 1
ball and no strikes on Puailoa.
And I
mean, how can you keep it out of your mind, obviously, what this would mean historically, not just a championship, the 10th for Cypress in their history if they could do it, but obviously that kind of puts you in even a different class to be the only team to have achieved that. It'd be hard to completely get that out of your mind.
You know, and another thing to consider, at what point do you maybe have to worry about complacency? I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case with a Brad Pickler coach team, but this is a team that you faced 3 times this season, and you're 3-0. Oh, 4-0, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've been thinking a lot about what might the mindset be of Mount San Antonio College, but yeah, to get into the head of what Cypress might be thinking, it's like, hey, we've had good success against these guys. We certainly know we can beat them. Here's the 2-0.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
This is the 4th time that they've played.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And they have, so they're 3-0.
3-0, yes.
3 balls, no strikes on Puailoa. After Kennedy Cummings had fanned the last 3 batters that she's faced. Finds herself way behind on Puailoa. Here's the 3-0. Puailoa taking all the way. That one over the outside corner. 3 balls and a strike.
And she might take again.
Kennedy Cummings continuing to work at a deliberate pace. 3 balls and a strike. Just outside, Puailoa has the walk. The Chargers have their 2nd runner of the ball game.
And Okazaki steps up to bat. The speedy one. Hit by a player, stole a base in the first.
Okazaki hit by a pitcher first time up. And now the fans starting to get into it. As offense goes, there hasn't been a lot to get excited about, but this is the most boisterous we've heard the crowd just yet. The pitchers have really kind of taken the air out here with their domination early on. In there for a strike to Okazaki.
Both fan bases have been really quiet so far. And offense ignites that. The potential of offense.
It's like the chicks dig the long ball and the fans dig the offense. It's rough as the life of a pitcher. That one well outside to Okazaki.
A little Bull Durham reference there.
That was the I know Mike would know that. That's the commercial they did Hey, you see, well, the camera gets them excited. Obviously,
Always.
If not the ball game, you point a camera at them, they're gonna get into it. But yeah, the commercial, the Braves. I think it was a ESPN commercial or something like that. But they had the Braves pitchers and Maddox and Glavine lamenting the Chicks dig the long ball, line drive, base hit for Okazaki. 2 on, 1 out for the Chargers here in the third.
First hit of the ball game for either team.
Go into the replay here. You see a good piece of hitting from Okazaki. Weight back, rifles that one into center field for a base hit.
And you see the head
More
of her
crowd,
bat
more crowd,
staying
more
consistent throughout the strike zone.
And now you can really hear the Cypress fans getting into it. And we'll have a conference on the mound. And this might, well, it's not the first time a runner has reached second base. Okazaki was on second.
She was.
Back in the first.
After she was hit, she stole second on the swing and a miss by Jenny Vasquez.
So everyone in on that meeting, and now they'll disperse, and we'll get back to softball. McCollum will be the batter. She flied to center. Her first time up, a nice running catch by Bree Maikai. But McCollum with an opportunity here to potentially get the Chargers on the board in a scoreless game here in the bottom of the third.
And Ruby Rojas, the coach of the Mounties, taking no chances on their defensive idea going into this at-bat. Want to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Meanwhile, the off-speed pitch in there for a strike, so Kennedy Cummings out in front, no balls and a strike on McCollum.
Gentlemen, I'm sure you've already alluded to it, but does Destiny Vasquez just seem like a different pitcher today?
Well, she certainly has been dominating. She's had a terrific weekend overall. We've been talking as much about how Kennedy Cummings has really been overpowering in the first couple of innings with 5 strikeouts, but just that quickly, the Chargers are really able to turn things around and start a rally here.
I think really where I'm trying to go with that, I think Vasquez, we've seen a couple of chinks in the armor. I see 0 chinks today. It's like she coated the armor with Teflon last night and came in, and she is on fire here today. 1 run might actually pull this thing off.
Yeah, 7 innings, to your point, with 4 earned runs allowed in the victory over Mount San Antonio College yesterday. So the Mounties were able to get to her for something. High chopper to short. Sock on the short hop, goes to first and gets McCollum. The runners do advance to second and third. What a great play by Kayla Sock. This was nearly disaster, as we'll take a look at the replay. Had to go on the short hop, can't get there on the big hop.
She beat her.
And then fires a strike. Very close play at first, second and third, 2 down, and Vasquez coming to bat.
Watch it one more time here. It's bang, bang, but I think she beat her.
Yeah, Vasquez did throw 5 shutout innings in the victory over San Joaquin Delta. That back on Friday night. But I think both pitchers, after struggling in Game 3, have really come on here so far, Matt, in Game 6, and been decidedly more in control. But the Chargers do have 2 on here in scoring position with 2 down.
And in steps Jenny Vasquez, who could definitely, with 1 swing of the bat, give the Chargers a 2-run lead.
Yeah, base hit to the outfield here. You got Okazaki at second base. That's outstanding speed, so you have to imagine any base hit to the outfield is going to give the Chargers a 2-0 lead. Vasquez struck out in the first. Just foul. Kennedy Cummings
Go ahead.
working inside again to Vasquez. But, yeah, that was one of those ones that off the bat looked like could be a little bit of trouble. One of those perfect flares just over the third baseman's head, but pretty well foul.
Pickler had a chance for it, didn't even make an attempt.
What was the conversation we had with Coach Pickler earlier today? It's easier to call the out versus calling someone safe.
It is.
Yeah, and talking about the time you take to make that call. Sky high, but out of play. No balls and 2 strikes quickly on Vasquez. And you see Kennedy Cummings continuing to bust it inside, see if she's trying to set something up away to Jenny Vasquez.
Maybe the fan catch of the game. Brett McGorian, assistant coach from Sierra College, grabbing that foul ball on the fly.
Oh, he's picking up Pick there, I think. Pick's busy coaching.
NFCA assistant coach of the year, Brett McGorian.
No balls, 2 strikes on Vasquez. Rise ball. And Vasquez lays off a ball and 2 strikes.
Discipline right there shown by Vasquez.
Yeah, but getting back to, I think, to the point that you're making, Mike, this is a huge moment in this game for Mount San Antonio College. The way that Vasquez looks so far. A run or 2 here, and the Chargers might be off to the races with the kind of confidence that they have coming into this game as well. 1-2, swinging bunt. Felix over to first to retire the side. Terrific infield defense from the Mounties squelches the rally for the Chargers. We will head to the 4th, still scoreless here on Championship Sunday. It's the 2017 California Community College Athletic Association Softball Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Championship Sunday here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. We head into the 4th. Mount Sac and Cypress. No score so far. Both pitchers have been fantastic. Destiny Vasquez in the circle. Due up this inning, it'll be Wilbon, Taylor Jarique, and Tony Mendoza, the filet mignon of the order.
Of course, Wilbon struck out in the first, back-to-back strikeouts
To open the game.
To open the game.
Well, we've talked about how dominating she has been.
Both pitchers been dominating. And that defensive stand at the end of the last inning is one of those defensive stands that can really propel you to a championship.
Yeah.
The motivation swings defensively.
Yeah. Rise ball high. 1-1. Well, a questionable call by the ump on the Sidney McCollum infield potential single there. It looked like she had beaten the throw. We saw it twice on replay. That ball goes foul off of the bat of Wilbon. Saw it 3 times. Clearly wasn't. Well, we can always get the slow-mo replay at some point.
Well, the thing is, the call is not going to change one way or the other.
The human factor.
That's right. And we still have 0-0
exactly.
championship game.
Double bagels on the scoreboard as we speak. Top of the 4th, Wilbon. 2-2. Chopper over to short. McCollum makes a move on it. Over to first, and dropping the ball was Keani Puwailoa. What a great play by McCollum, ranging to her left. Throw on the money. And it hit Puwailoa in the heel of the glove. She drops the ball, so the lead batter aboard here in Wilbon at first. And here comes Taylor Jarique. 2 bombs yesterday, 1 in each game. One of them off Destiny Vasquez.
may have beaten that one out anyway. Wilbon quickly down the line.
Indeed. So the Diamond Catcher of the Year in the state of California, Taylor Jarique, at the dish. And we have a special guest in the broadcast booth here. Matt, do we have the name graphic queued up for Darcy?
Stolen base. Wilbon down to second with the stolen base. All kinds of speed out there.
We are joined by Darcy Brownell. Am I saying that right, Darcy?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. President of the 3CFCA.
In steps Taylor Jarique, the Diamond Sports Catcher of the Year. Lays down a bunt. Tagged out. Great play by Alexis Zavala, anticipating the bunt. She was in, corners in on that.
That's a great play made there. We'll see it on the replay. A lot of dexterity shown on that bunt. Zavala comes in, tags the runner, but Wilbon over the third, scoring opportunity in the top of the fourth for the Mounties. Here comes Mendoza. And Matt, I know we wanted to kind of elaborate on the change in format next year. This will be the last year the championships for the foreseeable future will be held here in Bakersfield. Darcy, can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, up until 2009, it was an Elite Eight. After 2009, we went to a 4-team state championship.
That one out to left field, and that's the last arm in the building that you want to challenge. Nicole Weiss throws it in, holds the runner. Now 2 gone here in the top of the fourth.
So tell us a little bit about the format, because there are going to be definite changes, Darcy, as we head down to Mount San Antonio.
Right, there'll be the top 4 teams from the north and the top 4 teams from the south will meet at Mount SAC for an Elite Eight format. It'll be a 3-day format just like this. A lot more games played earlier in the day. On Sunday, though, we'll still have, hopefully, just the 2 surviving teams playing on Sunday. So there's just a lot more games, a lot more opportunity to see softball, representing 4 teams from the north and south.
My question is, in the earlier rounds of the playoffs, it's been the regionals, the super regionals, the Final Four. How is that going to change?
We're still talking about that.
Okay.
Right now, we have 2 rounds of best-of-3 series. We're talking about going to just a super regional format where there is 4 sites, like 16 teams in the north, 4 sites, 4 teams at each site. Winner moves on to the state championship.
So instead of the 2 sites, north and south, you're going to have additional sites.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
If we do that super regional format with 4 teams, it's more like the state championships. It's a tournament feel versus a best-of-3 series.
Meanwhile, Mandy Larios up to bat here for the Mounties. Wilbon still at third, but now 2 gone, top of the fourth, and Cypress an out away from getting out of the top of the fourth. That one popped up. This should do it. Romano tracking the ball down, makes a play, and we head to the bottom half of the fourth. We'll be back in a moment here with Darcy Brownell in just a bit here on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
So as we move down to this 8-team format for 2018, 1 field, 2 fields, that's still in talks right now?
That is still in talks. Mount SAC is hosting it. There's a possibility that 2 of the games could be played at Citrus College, which would really help alleviate the – I mean, you've noticed last night, the 8 o'clock game, was it? Yeah. Started at 9:20. Well, if we have so many games in a day and we're behind like that, a game's going to start after 11 p.m., and that's not good for the student-athlete. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for championship softball.
Agreed.
So we are really looking to use Mount SAC as the main field possibly play 2 games on Thursday or Friday, at Cypress, and then finish it all up at Mount SAC.
So the last 2 days would
Correct.
be on one
Correct.
side at Mount San Antonio.
And with the final 8, it just allows, you're seeing some great softball here. Then you're going to see more teams involved. You're going to see a lot more action. 2 games on Friday. It seemed like the teams got here and had to sit, and they're just going to be more like a tournament than just 4 teams. Almost like what the D1 NCAA does.
Right, exactly. They're playing all day long.
But we're doing it in 3 days, and they do it in a week. So trying to figure out the logistics to that on a college campus has been challenging, but Mount SAC has been wonderful to work with. The 3C2A Management Council supports us on this and is trying to help us figure out how best to do it that benefits student-athletes, the viewers, and 4-year coaches to recruit our student-athletes.
Yeah, that's really one of the big things why we do what we do. We want to elevate the exposure of the student-athlete. We want to get the word out. Obviously, the coverage has been very well received this season with the center field camera shot and some of the enhancements that we've made here at SoCalCollegeSports.com. But, just a great job by the Coaches Association allowing us to come out here and do what we do and working in tandem. Bakersfield, great facility here, and obviously Mount SAC. The body of work kind of speaks for itself down there as we head into the bottom of the 4th Puwailoa at the Dish.
We just mentioned Bakersfield College. We've been here the last 7 years.
Check that, Alexis Zavala, before you go into it. Sorry.
Darcy, you've been intimately connected with everything that has gone on the last 7 years down in Bakersfield. What do you have to say about Sandy Taylor and the job she's done down here?
We could have done it without her, and she actually kind of is a role model for us. She met with us this morning for an hour telling us what we need to do. She has a binder she's going to pass on to us, and without her leadership, I don't think we would have logistically been able to go this direction. I understand them not wanting to host it here just because of everything that goes on this campus. You can look out there right now and you see a drum line, all the stuff going on, all the building. But Sandy, we couldn't have done it without her, and what she's done here at Bakersfield College for us has created a really quality environment for the final 4 teams that come and play on an amazing field.
And we have seen this now as a template for all future
Correct.
Championships. She has done it right.
Yeah, her leadership is invaluable to us.
Speaking of leadership, you're the president this year. You're going to be the president next year. You could not have pulled off what you pulled off this weekend, I'm sure, without some help.
Correct. And most of the help is at Bakersfield College. Honestly, they have it down to a science here to where we come in, we get a couple emails from Sandy when you do this and that, but other than that, they've been seamlessly running this, and we're just here to help them. And next year, Mount SAC is stepping up, and we've met a couple times, and we're talking about stuff, but we're going to definitely lean on Sandy. Is this what we need to do and when we need to do it? Because she's done a great job.
Who are some of the people that have helped you out this weekend? I know there's a cast of characters maybe a mile long, but some of your key helpers.
Sandy Auble is my co-president. Maggie White's been down here. Some exec reps that have stayed the whole weekend. John Wismith from College of the Canyons.
Real quick, we're going to go back to the relay here on the strikeout of Zavala. We thought that was maybe a little bit outside. And Darcy, what did you see there?
Honestly,
bring back slider.
Yeah. I like zones like that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that was the right call personally. I think the umpires have been doing a really good job this weekend.
Now, it's not necessarily where the ball ends up, but where it crosses the plate. Is that correct? That's what I've been hearing in terms of the explanation of the strike zone.
Absolutely, and I've been sitting behind home plate, and the catchers are doing a great job,
Yeah.
a great job, and the umpires have been doing a really good job.
Yeah, catchers obviously influence in terms of framing where the pitch is going to be and how it ends up. And Jurick probably the best in the state at doing that and inducing strikeout calls.
Correct.
So Zavala now down on strikes. Here's Nicole Weiss. Weiss lifts this over the left field. Way ball and takes care of it for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th.
So anybody else you want to mention as helping you out this weekend?
Well, you guys here in the booth, everybody in the booth goes above and beyond. Andrew Wheeler does a great job. Brett McGorian came down as an exec rep. Maggie White, the treasurer, all of those people have helped out. And again, everybody here at Bakersfield College has helped out tremendously. I talked to a gentleman yesterday. When I got here, he was unlocking the gate, and when I left after 11 last night, he was the one locking the gate. So they're really stepping up big time for us. But everybody in the booth,
Yeah, want to ask you one question, then we'll let you get down to your premium seat behind home plate or in the shade over there with the rest of the coaches. Two teams right now that represent kind of the cream of the crop as far as programs go in the state of California. We've talked all season long about pitching as being a key thing, and it hasn't been prevalent. We haven't seen a lot of really great pitching all year long. Here we're seeing some great pitching. I mean, it just really has been dominant from both these teams. Has that been your impression this tournament long, is that pitching has gotten these two teams where they are?
Absolutely. When I sit behind a home plate, there's tight spin. What really stands out is they hit their spots. They throw inside, and they can hit their spots. And so the eye level's moving. They're going to go up and in. They're going down the changeup. So when you make that batter's eye level move that much, it's going to be hard to barrel up on that. And they're doing a very good job of that.
Is there an advantage from a pitching standpoint for these teams having seen each other 4 times so far?
An advantage and disadvantage. So, as a batter, if you've seen the pitcher, you know what to expect. So you got to bring something different, maybe change up the order of pitches that you're throwing so you don't always start outside and then come in, things like that. But, they've seen each other several times, and there's an advantage on both sides of that, not just the pitching but the hitting too.
Well, talking to Brad Pickler yesterday, here he comes in sailing in undefeated, and he said, Matt, we've got to watch out for these pitchers from Mount San Antonio. And they have proven exactly what he has said. I want to talk about Cypress, and then I'll let you go. Cypress comes in undefeated, as complete a team as I think I have seen in 14 years. Are they up there with for you?
I think this whole weekend I might have seen one mistake. They do everything very, very well. So you're going to have to do something really great to beat them. They're not going to give something to you, and that's what I see. I mean, they have good pitching. They're quick on the bases. They can hit the ball. They don't make mistakes on defense, so you're going to have to earn everything you get from them, and that can make it tough. That's why it's a 0-0 game right now in the 4th inning.
Great defense this weekend from all 4 teams. I didn't see too many errors. Just
not at all.
Outstanding play.
Diving plays, great throws, throwing people out at the plate. That's what makes this sport so fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meanwhile, Nicole Weiss, a full count, 2 gone here, bottom of the 4th. Weiss in contention for player of the tournament. Fouls that one back, stays alive.
Well, Darcy, anything else you want to add?
Thank the 3C2A. I mean, without that organization, we can't do what we do here.
Carlisle Cotter, George Matagakis, Mike Robles. I mean, they do a fantastic job of really setting us up and setting up events for success, and can't thank them enough.
Right, and Andrew Wheeler, the stuff he does for us, the hours he puts in, all of that support staff, those people who really, truly care about college softball is what makes this. Yes.
Well, we're honored to have you in the booth. We'll let you get down there. Have fun on this championship Sunday.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Darcy.
3 up and 3 down in the bottom of the 4th. We head to the 5th as Nicole Weiss struck out by Tiffany Kennedy Cummings. Dominating pitchers duel here. We head into the 5th. Back in a moment here on SoCal College Sports. It's a pitcher's duel here on Game 6 Championship Sunday of the 2017 3C2A Softball Finals here from Bakersfield on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Mike Cepeda, Matt Folsom, Jeff Stornoff with you on today's coverage. Bree Maikai starting off the 5th inning. Flies out to left for the first out.
Just like that, one pitch, one out.
It's gonna bring up Alyssa Rosso.
Nobody better to hit it to if you're Cypress than Nicole Weiss.
Yeah.
Pretty much guaranteed out.
Guaranteed out if you have a runner. Possible throw out trying to score. Happy you joined us, everybody. A beautiful day, a hot day here in Bakersfield.
It's a hot one. I can
At
hear
the Dean and
Carlos
Ada Gay
Santana.
Sports Complex on the campus of Bakersfield College. That one popped up. Quick hole for Rosso, 0-2.
Rosso reached on an error. No, she did not reach. There was an she reached on an error, but thrown out at the plate Tony Mendoza to end the second, so she didn't spend much time at
That
first.
one over to second. Jenny Vasquez over to first in time for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down. 5th inning is shaping up to be very quick.
It's kind of what Jeff and I talked about. You know, maybe we'll see a pitcher's duel today. The games will go pretty fast, and
It's
that's what we get.
exactly what the doctor ordered. I have no problem with it. So Espinoza now your batter. She's pretty good in the circle this season as well. 16-1 on the year. 16 or 17-1?
Yes. One of those two.
One of those. Recapping the action for the weekend. Game 1 started on Friday. It was San Mateo and Mount Sac. Mount Sac prevailed into the winner's bracket. Cypress undefeated on the year coming into today, so we know where they were. A win over Delta. That one in to right center for a base hit. As Emma Walker comes over, ranges to her right, throws it into the infield. 2-out single for Espinoza.
First hit of the game for the Mounties in the 5th inning. That just shows you how dominant these two pitchers have been.
There you go. So 4 2/3 of no-hit ball from Destiny Vasquez. But Espinoza, a fellow ace in the circle on at first base via a single, 2-out single. And here comes Carissa Felix.
Felix popped to center field, short center, in this 3rd inning. Destiny Vasquez does not look too happy about surrendering that hit, not because it breaks up a no-hitter, but because this is a 0-0 game.
Yeah.
Your attention, please. Entering the game at first base for Espinoza, number 6, Sasha Allen.
So Sasha Allen will come in to pinch run for Espinoza.
Now batting with 2 outs and 1 on.
These role players are really crucial in a game like this,
Yeah.
where you cannot have anything but perfection and execution on the base path as a pinch runner.
That pitch low. 1-0 on Felix. Felix comes in the batting average of .423. Sends that into center field. That's going to be a base hit. First and third, 2 outs now here in the top of the 5th, and Mount Sac threatening to strike first blood. In the winner's bracket yesterday, the early game, Mount Sac was the first to score in that one via the 2-run bomb from Taylor Jurique. Right now, they are in a good spot to possibly scratch one across.
And Coach Pickler making his way out to the circle to talk to Destiny Vasquez and his infielders. 2 down here with runners at the corners, so it's as important that he talk to his defenders as it is his pitcher to try to make sure everybody understands what their role is. We saw Mount San Antonio an inning ago squelch a Cypress threat with 2 runners on, 2 down. Let's see if Cypress can do the same thing here.
Well, Kayla Sock, top of the order, now your batter. Sasha Allen pitch running for Espinoza, who got things started off on the base paths for the Mounties in this inning with a 2-out single. Pinch run for Carissa Felix now at first. And Kayla Sock, 36 RBIs this season. That's second on the team to Taylor Jurique. So obviously she's very adept at timely hitting. And can she produce right here at a prime spot to get one across? Championship Sunday here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Happy you've joined us, everybody. Spread the word. Go to our website, www.SoCalCollegeSports.com, for anybody unable to watch it. And remember, you can go to our channel on YouTube or an Apple TV or Xbox One, upscale it to 1080p. Beautiful day for baseball, or for softball rather, here from Bakersfield. I'm getting ahead of myself. Fresno, we're going to Fresno next week.
And Coach Pickler out talking about the first and third situation. What happens if the runner at first makes an attempt at a steal? So let's see what Felix does. Actually, it's Sasha Allen at third,
Sasha
and
Allen
Felix
third.
at first.
Correct.
2 down. So the infielders need to know what's going on. Should Felix head down to second?
Sock behind 0-1. Vasquez delivers, showing bunt, brings it back, takes strike 2.
And they just let her go down to second. More concerned with the batter. They want to get the out.
Absolutely.
They're not concerned with the runner at second. Really is meaningless.
Yep. Does take away the force play at second. But I think you're exactly right. Wilbon on deck, and she'll be followed by Jurique. Second and third, 2 outs now. Swing and a miss, and out of the inning is Cypress. Mount Sac strands 2. We head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Still no score here from Bakersfield. Game 6 of the 2017 Softball Championships in the 3C2A. Bottom 5, Destiny Vasquez, the pitcher, who's been so dominant here today. She went 4 2/3 of no-hit ball, gave up back-to-back singles last inning, but ends the inning with a strikeout. And we're now in the bottom of the 5th. Now the batter, it'll be Destiny Vasquez, Val Romano, and County Puwailoa. Due up this inning for Cypress. We're an hour and a half into this one. We are late in the ball game. It's a leadoff hit by pitch walk. issued by Tiffany Kennedy Cummings, and that's really the first time that we've seen of her being not 100%. First chink in the army here today for Kennedy Cummings.
Well, she may have done that just to set up the double play.
It's true. That's not a bad point there. Wants to get her infielders some reps.
Pickler making a change at first base, throwing in a pinch run, and we'll get that call to you as soon as we get it.
I mean, obviously with so much heat out here, want to preserve Destiny as much as possible, especially in the event that there is a Game 7.
Your attention, please. Entering the game at first base for Vasquez, number 20, Rebecca Espinoza.
So Rebecca Espinoza for Cypress, now the pinch runner. She's at first base, and now up to bat, here comes Val Romano. Romano struck out her last time up, back in the third. Romano showing bunt, bunts it foul. Romano on the season batting .298. Possible pitch out, no.
No,
Corners
coming in. Just missed.
I want to remind everybody watching, you can catch all of the coverage on our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1, from the weekend. Everything archives to YouTube. Swing and a miss from Romano. A big hack after she was showing bunt. So now 1-2 on Val.
And how scary is that for their third baseman in all the way, and then you see big Romano taking a cut at it. Life flashing before her eyes.
Duck and cover. Kennedy Cummings comes to. And that's a foul ball from Romano. That'll be an out as Espinoza has to go back to first. Bunting with 2 strikes there, trying to catch everybody off guard a little bit.
Yeah.
Little gamesmanship there from Romano. Didn't work out, but.
And you saw Felix and Mendoza aware of it right away.
Right away.
And charging. You know, these teams are impeccably coached.
Puwailoa now the batter. So runner at first. That's Rebecca Espinoza, who came on for Destiny Vasquez via the sub.
Puwailoa walked in the third. Made it all the way to third.
Got no further. Lays down the bunt, moves over the runner. So Espinoza at second now with 2 gone. Bottom of the 5th. And here comes Melanie Okazaki. The runner in scoring position.
Okazaki in the bottom of inning number 1, hit by a pitch, made it as far as second base, then had a single in the third, made it to second.
Okazaki leading the team in batting average, coming in .456 on the season. Third on the team in RBIs with 41.
A gapper right now brings in Vasquez, or excuse me, is that not that's
Espinoza.
Rebecca Espinoza, pinch runner.
The 1-0. That's in there for a strike, a little off speed. Kennedy Cummings takes some off of it. One. That one's high.
Good eye on that one.
Great eye.
So disciplined.
Such a good hitting team. Remember the fourth matchup this year between these two teams. Mount Sac only dropped 3 games all year coming into the championships. 2 of those losses came to Cypress. Another one coming to Allen Hancock, another playoff team in the 3C2A. The 2-1. Outside. No, call that a strike. So 2-2.
But once again, you see the discipline there. That's not anything that she wanted to hit.
Yeah.
Even though it was in the zone.
So trip deuce is on the board.
4 if you want to add the runner at second base.
That's true. Quad deuces.
Quad
That's a
deuces.
first. Haven't had that before. 2-2. That's high. Count now full. On deck, Sidney McCollum.
You know, I have
Very
to wonder.
important out here, Matt.
The majority of the batters in the state of California would have swung at that pitch. They are just so disciplined. Okazaki says, yeah, I know exactly where that's going. I'm not swinging at it.
I think if anything, the Cypress hitters are anything but the majority.
Yep.
Creme de la creme of the hitters in the state. Swing and a miss. Struck her out swinging. Okazaki not happy about it. And Tiffany Kennedy Cummings keeps it scoreless here through 5. No scores. Cypress and Mount Sac, Game 6 of the 2017 Softball Championships here from Bakersfield. Back in a moment. A pitching duel for the ages here in Game 6 of the 2017 Softball Finals here from Bakersfield in the 3C2A. And Destiny Vasquez, Tiffany Kennedy Cummings duking it out. And how good has Tiffany Kennedy Cummings been, Jeff?
Yeah, the stat line, I mean, we've been talking about Destiny Vasquez, and with very good reason, but 1 hit allowed through 5 innings with 9 strikeouts.
As Wilbon flies out to left, 4 out, number 1 here in the top of the 6th.
And then her counterpart, Destiny Vasquez.
Not too shabby yourself.
She's given up 1 hit, struck out 4.
Yeah, through 5 1/3 now. We're going to update it to the very moment.
Live stats.
Two hits given up. That came last inning.
Oh, you're right.
Yep, she had the no-hitter through.
4 2/3. That one popped up by Jurink.
All just a fairly numerical way of saying that the first one to pierce the scoreboard here, very likely going to finish this one off.
Pierce the scoreboard.
I mix my metaphors a little bit.
Is that like a javelin track and field kind of thing?
Well, you know.
That one low.
And this is kind of what we expected. These teams know each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
4th battle of the year.
Well, and I think it's interesting to go back to Game 3, which was fairly high scoring, a 6-4 game. And as we've been talking about all weekend, the adjustments back and forth. The hitters seem to have the better of it in Game 3. Obviously, the coaching staff, the pitchers, went back to the drawing board, learned from that experience, and you see both hurlers come out and be much stronger, completely dominant here in Game 6.
The conversation that we had with Coach Pickler this morning, we had alluded to that. Some hitters had some success a little bit versus Vasquez early in the count attacking that first pitch, and he said, well, we got a little something for that today, and they've obviously made the adjustment. She has been fantastic and only giving up 2 hits so far.
And there gets to be a point, I think, when you see these pitchers so many times that you know what adjustments to make.
Yeah.
But because they're on top of their games, they are unable to make those adjustments.
I feel like this is one of those situations getting late in this game with one player that we should do the old White Sox pick to click here and say who's going to be. Ultimately here we're going to have to see a run eventually from somebody, but who is going to be the hero?
Might it be,
if you had to guess?
Might it be Taylor Jarique who might score the first run? She's on first after the walk issued from Destiny Vasquez.
And keep an eye on this batter right here, Tony Mendoza, a walk and a flyout, but she hit the ball hard. In fact, with Wilbon at third base, I think Mendoza hit the ball too hard to left field, and Wise was able to make the catch, and Wilbon didn't have time to tag up back in the 4th inning.
That one catches the outside part of the plate, 0-1. Mendoza batting .446 on the year coming in. That one outside, 1-1. Mendoza does have some power. You would expect nothing less. He's tied for 3rd on the team with 3 home runs.
And as Coach Darcy Brownell said, both these pitchers are throwing to spots extremely well. We have seen no letdown as they get through 5 innings.
And what little breeze we have, there is a little bit out there. It's blowing left to right, but a little bit out as well. So any number of hitters here can take it out if they get the right pitch.
Zavala comes in. Some encouraging words for Destiny Vasquez, no doubt. As the control starts to maybe get away, starting here for Vasquez. Behind the count, 2-1. That one chopped over to second. Force out over to McCollum. McCollum, not enough time to turn 2, but the lead runner is thrown out at second. So Mendoza reaches on fielder's choice.
And the Chargers gladly settling for the 2nd out of the inning.
Absolutely.
Not trying to throw it away.
So 2 gone here. That'll bring up Mandy Larios. Larios batting .356 this season.
As my dad would have said, a tall drink of water.
And actually, this is going to be a pinch hitter, Christian Williams.
Williams, who got the start in Game 1 at third base.
So Williams going to be the batter here coming up.
And
Williams
you wonder,
batting .329 this year.
Larios has been playing second base the entire game. Is this going to be a situation where we see Larios reinserted?
Yes.
Well, I just mentioned that Tony Mendoza with 3 home runs on the year, tied for 3rd on the team. She's tied with Kristen Williams, also with 3 home runs this season.
In this game, defense, as we've seen, is going to be more important than what you're going to get at the plate. And you have Williams, having played third base almost the entire season, not going into second base. She's in for her bat right now.
That pitch low.
Vasquez has fallen behind the last few hitters. But so far with the kind of stuff that she's able to get herself out of trouble, even if she's down in the count.
And much to the chagrin of the Mountie fans, Brad Pickler makes his way to the circle, trying to slow things down. It's not trying to slow things down. It is trying to control the game. Forget it. Speed it up, slow it down. Pickler's trying to set the pace, whatever it might be.
It's tempo is so important, really in any sport, and you get the feeling that he's trying to control tempo, but obviously he understands the gravity of the situation here, and he's Very well versed. 29th season now, is that correct?
Well, we talked about, I mean, you get used to it, but Vasquez not only going in this game, but if there is a Game 7, likely will go again, which boggles my mind, but it's very hot out there. And the pitchers are having success, so I wouldn't expect that the pitch count is too high, but you have to consider that fatigue can be a factor.
Shuri Shoemake, umpire. What's typically the time limit that a coach is given out in the circle? Is there a set?
It's not a set time, but as an umpire, what they teach you is to mark the visit.
That one popped up from Williams, and Romano unable to make a play on it. That would have been the end of the inning. So Williams stays alive here.
In conversation, you can tell that they're really talking to the players
Missed opportunity for the Chargers.
out there to delay the game, and you can get out.
Will count as a strike.
So the answer to that question I asked Cherie is that an umpire is going to
Now
gauge
1-1.
the situation. Is he really trying to talk to his players, or is he really trying to slow the game down? Or she trying to slow the game
Right,
down?
that was interesting. So there's a lot of leeway in there, but if you see them really talking, then that's you can give them a little more time. But if you start to see them milling around a little bit out there, so you kind of have to read the situation. So a little bit of artistry to it, I'm sure.
And you saw the home plate umpire going out to kind of gauge the situation with her ears.
And I can well imagine some of the managers going back in both baseball and softball, the coaches in softball.
Swing and a miss, got her. Vasquez with her 5th strikeout today. That'll do it for the top of the 6th. Still no score here from Bakersfield in Game 6 of the 2017 3C2A Softball Championships. We'll be back in a moment.
Bottom of the 6th inning. And a quick update, Mandy Larios reinserted into the lineup. She'll be back at second base after being pinch hit for. In the top of the 6th, it'll be the heart of the order due up Sydney McCollum, Jenny Vasquez, Alexis Zavala, and then Nicole Weiss if anybody reaches.
Murders Row stepping up for the Chargers in this scoreless game.
Heading to the bottom of the 6th, McCollum 0 for 2, flied to center and grounded to short. Tiffany Kennedy Cummings, who has been incredibly dominant through 5, but still locked in a tie game as she goes to work on McCollum. Ripped foul down the third base line.
Maybe the hardest hit ball of the afternoon against Kennedy Cummings. Wow, flags are just stationary out there.
Yeah, a moment ago there was a little bit of a breeze out there. I didn't really feel it here, but I'm sure it was there.
Temperature in the low 90s, mid 90s probably now.
It's and I am very thankful for this. I think it's a little cooler than it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10 degrees.
And when popped foul, I'll take it. No balls, 2 strikes quickly on McCollum. All right, now we're getting the update. 94? 94. All right. Hey, listen, we work here in Bakersfield and Fresno next weekend. Well, I'll take 94. A long look from Kennedy Cummings. Here's the 0-2. McCollum tried to hold up, but she's down on strikes. Strikeout victim number 10 in the game for Tiffany Kennedy Cummings.
And I don't know whether to put that down as a struck out looking or struck out swinging. It was a little each.
Yeah. Well, listen, you gotta read the situation and just trust your gut on that one. I think, Maddie.
10 Ks through 5 1/3.
Jenny Vasquez 0 for 2, struck out and grounded to third. The first pitch, rise ball high, a ball and no strikes. Vasquez was 1 for 4 with a run scored in the Game 3 meeting between these two teams. That one flared foul.
Try to say that fast 3 times. Flared foul.
Flared foul.
Flared foul.
Listen, I got a little trouble saying one thing one time slowly. I don't challenge myself with speed if I can avoid it.
Try that at home, guys. Flared foul, flared foul, flared foul. It's impossible.
The 0-2 pitch to Vasquez. Right back to the screen. And you see again. Looks like Kennedy Cummings has the ability to work the ball in a tailing motion into right-handers and in a motion sort of hooking away from right-handers.
Yeah, she can work that screwball.
And that has got to be a nightmare to deal with if you're batting from that right-hand side, combined with a little velocity.
And she can do it at varying speeds. I think that's what's been we've seen today.
Off speed, high. So 2 strikes still on Vasquez. 1 down and the base is empty here in the bottom of the 6th. 1-2. High drive to left. Wilbon camped under it, has it for the out. Well, I'll tell you, Vasquez didn't miss that one by a whole lot, Maddie.
No.
Just a little bit under it. You suspect a little late movement probably on the pitch from Kennedy Cummings, but ends up being a routine fly for Wilbon out and left. Quickly 2 down. That'll bring up Alexis Zavala. She's 0 for 2, struck out twice. Zavala was 1 for 3 in the meeting between these two teams yesterday, a 6-4 victory for Cypress.
We're seeing some frustration now on the part of the Charger batters.
That one hit for Zavala was a home run. No balls and a strike. Again, off speed, just outside. For Zavala, that was just her 2nd home run of the season. Came at a big time.
Sure did.
This is an enormous time, I think,
This
for both
as
teams.
big as it gets.
Yeah. And you wonder who the hero is going to be as we head down the stretch in a scoreless game.
Heroes are made in a game like this.
That one tailing outside, 2 balls and a strike.
How fitting the last day of championship softball at Bakersfield after 7 years of championship competition to have a game like this.
Well, you almost could feel it coming the way that these teams have been so dominant this year. And it's not a big surprise. Two teams playing great softball that know each other well as Zavala reaches out and fouls that one away. But, yeah, depending on the finish we get here, this is a classic. And for those that might just be joining us, the Chargers trying to complete what would be an undefeated season. And that would be the first championship season, first champion in the 3C2A to go undefeated in softball. So a big piece of history if they can do it. Zavala down on strikes. 11 now in the game for Tiffany Kennedy Cummings. 3 up, 3 down. We head to the 7th. Nothing resolved, still scoreless. It's the 3C2A softball championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Heading to the 7th in a scoreless game. The 2017 softball championship on the line. If the Chargers can close it out here, they will be the 3C2A softball champions here in 2017. If Mount San Antonio College can win this one, we'll go right back to it with a Game 7 for all the marbles 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one.
Bree inside the park, home run Maikai.
Yeah, broke
leads it
open
off.
the game against San Mateo. Last night, a perfectly placed line drive down the left field line. You can't put it any better. In the immortal words of John McEnroe, chalk flew up.
He said that.
Yeah. 1981 Wimbledon.
More than once.
Maikai lifts this one into left center. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Maikai rounding first. She will easily make it to second with a leadoff double.
Well, we talked about Maikai's speed yesterday with the inside the park home run.
And there it was.
Yes.
I'm going to take a look at the replay.
In a hurry.
See Maikai, similar to Aaliyah Wilbon, with the step forward, drives this one to left center, and the placement pretty good. It was not right on the chalk like the one last night, but right in between Okazaki and Wise in left center. And Maikai running hard right from the outset, easily made it to second. A golden opportunity for the Mounties here in the top of the 7th. That one bunted back to the screen. And what a great pitch by Destiny Vasquez. They talk about the high fastball, a little bit inside. Toughest pitch to get down. And she went to the rise ball there. And Rasso had no chance.
And we saw with Maikai that the slap hitter that has speed has an advantage of getting that extra base hit if it finds the gap.
Again to the rise ball. This one bunted foul. So now Rasso's got 2 strikes. This is where, you know, you talk about the bunt is one thing, but if Rasso could even slap one to the right side, that might get Maikai over as well. Easier said than done, of course.
Especially in this game.
No balls, 2 strikes on Rasso. The bunt back toward the circle, and Vasquez only play is to first. And the Mounties have the go-ahead run at third base with 1 down, and Raquel Espinoza coming to the plate, but here comes Ruby Rojas. So might we see some kind of change here? Although it's hard to imagine. Espinoza has been an outstanding hitter,
she's
got great speed at third base in Bree Maikai, so not sure what the call would be. That's a great bunt with 2 strikes by Alyssa Rasso.
Your attention, please, remaining in the game. Coming to the plate, the designated player number 34, Raquel Espinoza.
So Espinoza will be the batter. She's 1 for 2, grounded to short and singled.
Not sure what Ruby was doing.
The infield in, high pop, right side, twisting foul.
Well, this is the advantage of winning the coin toss, too. If Mount Sac were to put the go-ahead run across, the Chargers have an opportunity to match that or add another one to win.
Yeah, Chargers the home team here in Game 6. Espinoza with a huge opportunity here. Mai Kai at third with 1 down. Vasquez rocks and fires. High pop on the infield. Zavala's got it. Mai Kai stays put at third. Carissa Felix now with the opportunity, 2 down and a runner at third. Felix has had an outstanding weekend. She had a couple of hits yesterday in the victory over San Mateo, has a single today, and a chance here to be a big hero for the Mounties with 2 down and the go-ahead run at third. But Destiny Vasquez stands in her way.
As does one of the great defenses of all time.
Rise ball high.
As I mentioned earlier, Carissa Felix, the sister of Selena Felix, the 2-time All-American Player of the Year in 2014.
A ball and no strikes. That one tailing inside, catches the corner, a ball and a strike. Vasquez rocks and fires. Out of play. So Felix down to the count now. A ball and 2 strikes. Mai Kai led off with a double, was sacrificed to third. But a pop out by Espinoza. And Mai Kai still standing at third with 2 down.
And if this game's going to remain true to form, they're going to get out of this inning. Every threat by both teams has been squelched. I just like to say squelched.
That's been I always like the word. That's been a bit of a theme for the weekend, though, and I think that's a testament to that you get the best hurlers up here as a general rule, and it's difficult to get it done. Hard line drive, left field, Weiss at the wall, makes the catch. Well, we're talking about what's fitting for the weekend. How about a terrific defensive play by Nicole Weiss to put down the rally? Boy, Felix gave it a ride, and Weiss, right on top of the fence, makes the catch to end the threat. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. We head to the bottom of the 7th, still scoreless. You're watching the 3C2A softball championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Well, if you had to guess who was leading off the inning, I mean, what would be the chances that it was
Nicole Weiss, who
fresh
just made-
off the running catch at the wall to end the threat for the Mounties in the top of the 7th, and seemingly, as is always the way, set to lead off the next inning. Wise is 0 for 2, grounded to second and flied to left. The Chargers just need one.
Weiss 4 for 4 last night.
But you have to wonder if Tiffany Kennedy Cummings, how many innings are you going to have to work before you get one? 11 strikeouts and only 1 hit allowed through 6 innings. A ball and no strikes.
Wind's picked up a bit.
Again, left to right, a little bit out to right field. That one tails wide. 2 balls and no strikes to Wise. She'll be followed by Emma Walker and then Destiny Vasquez.
Coin flip earlier today landed in the Chargers' favor. They took the home position. They're batting in the bottom half of the 7th with a chance to win it all.
Kennedy Cummings ready. Rocks and fires. Rise ball on the inside corner, a strike. 2 balls and a strike. How do you like it? You're ahead 2 balls and no strikes, and that's the pitch you get. Just perfect location. Inside, but a little bit high, but still a strike, and nothing that Wise could do with a pitch like that.
That's probably the kind of pitch she'd throw on a 3-0 count.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike. Just a great location, though.
You can't hit
even
it
for a strike. Bloop to center, playable for Maikai. Well, that one hung in the air just a little bit, and Maikai doesn't need a lot of time, and she was there waiting for it.
Yeah, she can wait until the last possible moment and then scramble over and make the grab.
Absolutely. Here's Walker, 0 for 2, struck out twice. Just 1 hit on the day for the Chargers. That a single by Melanie Okazaki back in the 3rd when the Chargers put 2 on with 1 out, but couldn't scratch one across. Another good pitch on the inside corner, no balls and a strike on Walker.
One of 3 Chargers to strike out every time they've come up.
Well, it's going to happen when you got double-digit strikeouts thrown at you by Kennedy Cummings. And again, this is perhaps something that was due to happen given how good Kennedy Cummings has been this year and the fact that she's struggled quite a bit in her outings against the Chargers for the most part, and seems to have eventually found her way, and this is as dominating as you can be in the circle. A ball and a strike on Walker, but so far she's got nothing to show for it here. If the Chargers scratch one across, we're all done. Chop foul. Well, this is the type.
Walker with a bomb yesterday.
Yeah, this is one of these situations, Michael, where you think about it. We're thinking about who might be the player of the tournament. And this game has so much drama, and the nature of this game is such that whoever drives in the winning run here might have a strong argument in and of itself. It's going to be such a big play in a game where 1 run is obviously going to make the difference.
I have seen it before where a tournament-winning hit results in an MVP.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the biggest play of the tournament. I think that goes without saying.
Especially against either pitcher.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. This one skied foul. So 2 strikes still on Emma Walker.
Well, right now, in terms of body of work, I think Nicole Weiss stands out amongst the rest.
Yeah.
But certainly there are cases to be made, especially on the Cypress side. You talk about Destiny Vasquez and the job that she's done this weekend.
Yeah, if the Chargers were to score here, how about Vasquez with this kind of effort, a shutout to wrap it up in Game 6?
I think if Vasquez walks off or something that dramatic, I think that should terminate.
Lined, base hit to right. So Walker with a base hit.
Huh?
First hit since inning number 3 for Cypress.
Yeah, now each team with 2 hits, or I believe now the Mounties have 3. Yep, Mounties have 3. So 5 hits combined. So Walker at first. That'll bring up Destiny Vasquez. she's struck out and been hit by a pitch. If you're thinking about the stolen base, for Walker, she has good speed, 9 steals in 9 attempts.
So this is going to be interesting to see what Pickler does here. Do you sacrifice bunt on this to move the runner into scoring position, or do you cherish your outs?
Well, I see that has been the sort of MO, but the way these pitchers are pitching, it's been so tough to come up with a hit.
So maybe you play small ball.
Yeah. No, I think that's exactly how the wheels are turning. It's like, let's get someone into scoring position and hope we can come up with one. But so far it hasn't happened. But Walker at first with 1 down, a ball and no strikes to count on Vasquez.
Corners staying where they are. They are not anticipating any bunt.
Rise ball, 2's high, 2 balls, no strikes to count on Vasquez. So Walker with the base hit, and now Kennedy Cummings has fallen behind Vasquez. And that will prompt a meeting in the circle.
A confab. A little hydration, I think.
A little bit more to the left. You're off balance as well. Tilt the top right down.
And we talked about the temperature 94 degrees, and even allowing just a couple of hits. Maybe just giving a little bit of a brief respite. Allow Kennedy Cummings to gather herself, get back. A big situation here now. Vasquez likely to see something pretty good to hit here. She's got the count she wants at 2 balls and no strikes.
But, of course, we're going to see that off-speed grabbing the inside corner.
Yeah, if history is any guide on this one, we'll probably see a perfectly placed pitch that you can't do anything with. So Kennedy Cummings dealing to her opposite number here, Destiny Vasquez. Here's the 2-0. On the inside corner. And I think that's the pitch you were anticipating there, Matt. That's the one that she has gone to when she's been down in the count. I think that she can reliably place for a strike.
A pitch that you can't hit.
Yeah.
It's not like right down the middle to get a strike. It's you're not going to be able to hit this and I'm going to get a strike.
Here's the 2-1. High and outside.
Just missed.
3 balls and a strike on Vasquez. Chargers batting in the bottom of the 7th. And you see the score. 0-0.
I don't see any score.
It's right in front of you.
We
have the monitor.
There
it's
is
true.
no score.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Too high. So the single to Walker, the walk to Vasquez, and now the Chargers, just that quickly, 2 on with 1 out. They have the winning run at second. Valerie Romano due up. She's 0 for 2, struck out twice.
When you talked about the zeros, I almost went with little Jaime Escalante on you. Do you remember the movie Stand and Deliver?
Yes.
Where he talks about how the Mayans were the first ones to contemplate the absence of value, the zero. So
That's strong. I've seen it once a long time ago. I remember it.
That's exactly what I imagined too.
I'm sure it was. Well, you are an
So
obscure reference man too.
I love it. So were the Mayans the first to ponder the shutout, the absence of runs in baseball?
It wouldn't shock me if somebody from Mayan descent actually threw the first shutout.
They came up with 0-0.
Latin America very big on baseball, as it were.
Romano stands in. Walker at second, Vasquez at first, 1 down. First pitch in there for a strike.
You know, this is the first time since the bottom of the 5th that the Chargers have had a runner in scoring position. That was Destiny Vasquez with a leadoff hit by pitch, made it all the way to second.
How many substitutions do you get per game?
You can substitute as many as you want, but you can only substitute that player twice. I mean, you can have like a pinch runner,
Right.
and then re-enter. If you do it again, she's out of the game.
1 ball and 1 strike on Romano, trying to be the hero for the Chargers. Again, that one tailing outside, and Kennedy Cummings now starting to struggle with control, falling behind to Romano after walking Vasquez.
And how appropriate would it be for a hero to come up from the bottom of the lineup, somebody we haven't talked a lot about all weekend long for this Charger team, where everybody has a role to play? Can it be Romano right now? We haven't said a lot about her.
A chance to deliver the biggest blow of all. Out in front, and it's a foul ball. Wait, here's a late run. It's over. A crazy play. Romano thrown out at first. Walker never stopped running. Rounds third, comes home, and a season for the ages ends in a championship for the Cypress Chargers.
Walker with the winning run. What a great job, Coach Pickler at third, sending the runner. That is all she wrote. The undefeated season. The record is alive here for Cypress here in 2017.
What a crazy play. You take a look at the replay, and it was just a little squibber off the bat of Romano. They threw to first. I wonder if there wasn't a little measure of confusion for Mount San Antonio College.
There was.
I thought for a moment that was called a foul ball, but Emma Walker never stopped running. Rounds third and ends up coming in with the winning run. And that's victory number 48 without a loss. And Cypress College are your 2017 3C2A softball champions here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. It was a great pleasure to bring it to you.
And in an undefeated season, a game-winning run in the least anticipated way we thought. Unbelievable.
And, of course, our coverage will continue. We'll have complete coverage of the trophy presentation. We will have interviews, hopefully, with Coach Pickler, with perhaps a player or two. We'll wait and see who is named the tournament MVP. But we're going to go on here, give you plenty more coverage. The final score, once again, Cypress 1-0. And they complete the undefeated season and become your 2017 softball champions in the 3C2A. Stick around. We'll come back for more coverage. reminder, stick around. We will have complete coverage of the trophy presentation for the 2017 softball champions. Cypress College completing an undefeated season for the ages here in the 3C2A, and our congratulations to both Cypress and Mount San Antonio College, indeed all the teams reaching the Final Four here, an outstanding season. And Coach Scott Pickler, the 10th championship in the history of Cypress Charger softball, and perhaps none more special than 2017 and a fantastic Game 6. They win it 1-0. So we'll come back, have the coverage of the trophy presentation and some interviews as well. Stick around here on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Check one, check one, check one, check.
'94, '93, '92, '91.
Getting set to go down to the field for the trophy presentation. I want to once again pass along congratulations to head coach Brad Pickler in his 29th season, leading the Chargers to an undefeated season and their 10th championship in school history.
It's just a game. We need to hold our heads up high and be proud of what we've accomplished. And that's definitely true for Mount San Antonio. At this time, we're going to get them up the line, and we'll be handing out.
So they're starting the introductions, and we'll come back with a word with Brad Pickler as well as with the tournament MVP.
We're here with Cypress head coach Brad Pickler, 2017 champion here at Bakersfield in the softball championships in the 3C2A. Coach, an incredible performance all season long, the first in the history of the 3C2A to go undefeated en route to a championship. Can you give me your thoughts on that last play there?
You know, Emma just got a great read, and I'm going to tell everybody my story. I sent her, but I never said a word to her. She picked it up. She went on her own. She scored. She saw the play in front of her. She's fast. She's aggressive. She was smart, and she did what she should have done right there. You know, once I saw her take off, I yelled go, but I didn't see it. She rounded the bag, and she went right by. She flew by me. So.
Well, she flew by everybody. We barely picked it up on the broadcast in terms of what we saw in the announcer booth. We thought it was a foul ball, but you send her anyway because you just never know. And as it turned out to be the winning run, and you guys are champions here in 2017. What a performance! I mean, can you talk about some of the troubles that you had getting to Tiffany Kennedy Cummings?
She was so good today. She was just totally different than she was yesterday. She was going off speed. That was their MO. She had the rides going, everything. She pitched her heart out. She pitched a great game. You know, it was a tough loss.
Absolutely.
Both teams had opportunities, and it was just whoever was going to clutch up with the with the runner in scoring position.
You talk about great performances in the circle. Destiny Vasquez, pitcher of the year, and was very stellar here in Game 6 today.
Yeah, she was. She earned the pitcher of the year, and she gutted it out because she wasn't 100% today. You know, she had some aches and pains, but she wasn't going to be denied. She took the ball and was just a bulldog out there.
Yeah, can you talk about the grittiness of your team? You know, we saw Alexis Zavala. She was injured on a questionable slide on day one. She's a gamer. She played throughout the entire week, and I think that's a common theme throughout the entire Charger squad.
Anybody else would have came out. She would have probably not played the next day, but I knew Alexis was going to play no matter what. She was going to do whatever it took to play, and they are gritty. They're just, some of them are really tough, some are tougher than others, and she wasn't coming out, no matter what.
Well, you gave me all the shout-outs earlier today. Do you have any shout-outs personally on camera that you'd like to go with?
More to my dad, Irv. I don't want to cry. And Rick Rams, that's your first one, buddy, your first one. My brother, try to catch me if you can. Coach Drew, I'll meet you at school. It's on you, baby. And all my girls that played in the other years, I know you're watching. Maloney, Rocky, all you guys, Amber, Coral. I can't name them all, but they're all there watching. We got it for you.
Coach, congratulations. We'll be on with the tournament MVP. We know it. We're not going to announce it yet. Back in a moment here on SoCal College Sports.
You guys did a good job.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was head coach Brad Pickler talking about the undefeated championship season here for Cypress College in 2017. 48-0. They bring home the champion. They bring home the championship. We do have another interview to come after the tournament MVP is announced. But we will go back down to the field so you can have some visuals of the championship presentation here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. And we're not finished here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. The Chargers, in the midst of the celebration of their 2017 softball championship, here on SoCalCollegeSports.com, and we'll still have a word with tournament MVP Nicole Weiss. Nicole just with her teammates right now as Mike Cepeda joins us back on the broadcast, but we're going to have Nicole come up here and have a few questions with us, give us some time, which we certainly appreciate, but we'll still have a word with the tournament MVP.
Yeah, just an impressive performance. Obviously, we've been playing some of her highlights from the weekend, and the tournament MVP, Nicole Weiss, as we'll see a couple of throwouts here. Just check out the cannon. That's one. We'll see a replay.
It'll look like a replay,
it's going to look like
it's actually another
replays.
play.
Just again, an incredible performance. Not only did she do that, but she batted 600 on the weekend. So just an incredible clutch performance when her team needed it most.
Yeah, I mean, if we start talking about heroes this weekend, we're going to be here all night. And not just on Cypress, but just a terrific performance. And obviously, you take a look at what Wise was able to do both at the plate and in the field. A deserving tournament MVP to be sure, but what a crazy finish on the final play. And it's a heartbreaking way to lose if you're Mount San Antonio College, who really gave it all today and had themselves right in position. A couple of opportunities late in that game to push one across themselves, but they couldn't do it. Credit Destiny Vasquez, a great job pitching out of trouble a couple of times late. And you keep on giving the Chargers chances, and then in one of the strangest ways possible, they managed to push one across. But what a great play by Emma Walker, as Coach Brad Pickler talked about.
Yeah, Coach Pickler, he said that he sent her, but he didn't have to say a word.
He sent her telepathically. I feel like they were on the same page. So, Walker, as he talked about, with the play right in front of her, and never hesitated, and it absolutely made the difference. And just a crazy finish to a remarkable game here in Game 6. Incredibly high drama.
And again, we will have Nicole Weiss, tournament MVP here for the 2017 3C2A softball championships. Cypress, a 1-0 winner over Mount SAC, a walk-off win to complete a storied, historic season here in the 3C2A. Back in a moment, everybody, here on SoCal College Sports. Cypress College, your winner here in 2017 for the softball championships in the 3C2A. Mike Cepeda, Jeff Stoynoff, and we are joined by tournament MVP Nicole Weiss. What a performance this weekend. Have you had a chance to look at your highlights online yet?
I've looked at some of the plays I've had in left field, but other than that, I've just been focused on playing the game right now and just doing my thing, and it's obviously working for me.
What kind of a mindset as a team? I mean, obviously you come into the weekend undefeated. That takes an incredible amount of focus. Can you talk about the cohesion level of this team? It's got to be a wonderful group.
Oh, yeah. We all play as a team. We came in here not being cocky at all. We wanted to see one thing, and that's to play as a team and win as a team. And we all are there to pick each other up. Like, one of us is down. One is there to pick another up, and we're all just there for each other, and we just all try to have fun in the game.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of performances coming from all over the place to get to what you were talking about. Obviously, the game today was pretty much an instant classic, back and forth. And Tiffany Kennedy Cummings was obviously really dealing today and giving you guys a lot of trouble. But can you talk about what the mindset was in the dugout and how you guys were dealing with it when you're dealing with somebody who's really giving you a lot of trouble, and how do you stay in it?
Well, we knew Tiffany is a good pitcher. Like, we no doubt know that. We just had to stay focused, stay on top of the ball. We knew she had a rise ball. We had to stay on top of that. We just had to see ball, hit ball. That's all we had to think, and focus on the game, focus on what we needed to do and get the job done.
Well, you certainly did that. Coach Pickler, he's not his first rodeo, 29th season as the head coach for Cypress College. Can you talk about his tutelage as the year went along and helping the team stay focused but keeping you relaxed at the same time?
Yeah, Brad, all he does is he tells us to go out there, have fun, do our thing, no pressure pretty much. He cracks jokes with us. He makes sure we're all relaxed. We just have fun with him. He's a great coach. We all learn great things from him. He has the experience of being here and coming here. We all need that experience.
Shoutouts have been a common theme this weekend, and of course we want to give you your due here in terms of shoutouts. Do you have anybody you'd like to say hi to?
Just my mom, my dad. My grandparents are probably watching at home right now.
The classic hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
That was it.
That's a good go-to.
Yeah. Well, my mom's here. She stayed the entire weekend. She's my #1 fan.
Nice.
So.
Very good. Yeah. Well, remember, everybody, you can go back and watch the entirety of the weekend's coverage here on SoCalCollegeSports.com on our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. That's going to do it for our coverage. We have some special thanks here, a full list of names that really helped us do what we do here at SoCal College Sports throughout the weekend at Bakersfield. Cherie Shoemake is our PA announcer. Lydia Martinez, the official scorekeeper. On the scoreboard operator, Andrew Wheeler, he's our statistician. Mike Robles, SID at the 3C2A. Sandy Taylor, the athletic director here at Bakersfield College. Dennis Wren, umpire-in-chief. Darcy Brownell, the 3C FCA president.
And then everybody here at Bakersfield College, that's really unsung. And sorry, Nicole, that you're kind of here hanging out with us like for this. So, but the field crew that gets the field ready to play all the time, and then the Bakersfield College softball team that does a lot of volunteering to help staff the event as well. So, everybody there that obviously we don't get a chance to talk about, but helps to put the event together as well.
And, of course, the crew here at SoCalCollegeSports.com. Emery Johnson on a lot of the camera work. We heard him on day 2 of the championships. Matt Henson, Jorge Cepeda, Jeff Stoynoff, and myself. That'll wrap it up for this weekend's coverage. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Again, Cypress College, your 2017 champion for softball in the 3C2A. Take care.